Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to episode 23 of Wings, Beers, and Tears, your DMV sports podcast. I am Todd, and with me, as always, is the esteemed Jerry. Jerry?
Hello, everybody.
You look fired up tonight.
I'm tired.
You look subdued, bro.
Yeah. I just thought about how we're going to have to talk about the Redskins, and it already put me to sleep.
So we will delay that talk for our own
forever.
sanity. I wish. Jeremy, the third member of the crew, how are you, sir?
I'm good, boys. Good to see you all.
Yeah, likewise. So here we are, Wings, Beers, and Tears. Give us a follow on Spotify, on Google Play, on Apple iTunes, on any of your favorite streaming services where you get your podcasts.
Or least favorite, just listen to it.
Or least favorite. That's a really good point, actually. You know, if you're not first, you're last, and we don't really give a shit as long as you listen. So here we go.
Amen.
So we're going to start on a positive note tonight, and in about an hour's time as we record this podcast on Tuesday night here in October, our Washington Nationals, Be Still My Heart, are playing a home game to possibly eliminate the St. Louis Cardinals and move on to the World Series. Wow. What, dude, I'm actually riveted by this baseball postseason. This has been some fun shit to watch at night.
I'm not riveted, but I enjoy it. I mean, I fall asleep, so but I watch in the morning to do what I was for.
For anybody that does not know, we have a Wings, Beers, and Tears group chat. We have some former guests on from time to time, and pretty much every other message from Jeremy has to do with the umpires being garbage or the referees being completely incompetent. It's hysterical. He can't even watch his team win. He's like, oh, look at that fucking pitch.
It's the greatest thing about ESPN, and I guess TBS does it too. They superimpose the strike zone, so you can just see how fucking incompetent the guy behind the plate is. It's the best thing ever invented.
I do dig the strike zone technology as they've put it on the screen. It's improved so much over the years.
Strike, and he's arguing with the batter. But I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And it's the foot outside. He's like, "Oh, strike." Good job, dickhead.
With all that being said, it is actually fun to watch our team make a run. And I mean, we have said it here. We are not the only ones to have said it. The media has been all over this, but the parallels between this team and the Caps team that made their Stanley Cup run are so numerous. You know, being the favorite and having your heart broken, getting right to the doorstep and then just having the door slammed shut in your face. And here they were, back their way into the playoffs, did not play great at stretches. As good as they were the second half of the year, August, September, there were some dicey moments. We even had some times here on the podcast where we're like, fuck, if they have another losing streak, they might not make the wild card.
They might not even get in.
Exactly.
But I got to tap all of us in the back, well, at least the ones of us who are smart, and say that we did all the way through, even through that time, say if they make it, we still like their chances.
Yeah.
Oh,
because we liked them against the Dodgers. I mean, that couldn't have been any tighter, but we liked them all along. I don't think we expected this, but we've been pumping their tires pretty good.
No, we definitely have been. And again, I said it that the Dodgers they were praying that Milwaukee got through that wild card game because they looked at the Nats and went, fuck, this is the only team that can really go toe to toe with us hitting, and their pitching's just as good as ours.
Right.
You know,
the pitching has been amazing.
I mean, you said it, Jerry. You said when you can roll out Scherzer, Strauss, and Corbin in whatever order that has
Bell
to.
says fuck you.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Sanchez is like, I'm right over here, guys. Nice no hitter out of the seventh.
No hit.
It's funny that you talk about the Capitals parallels with the Nationals. It's not only just what you said about past failures and you can't get past a certain round. It's even how this has gone, right? Caps last year against the Columbus down 2-0. Everybody thought it was over. Things were looking bleak. They managed to come back in that series, and then they started steamrolling. Here, they're playing Milwaukee. They're down in the 7th by 2. That pitcher Hader comes in, who's awesome, and they were able to get to him and win. And ever since then, they've been on a roll.
Yeah,
they've been pitching well.
Mm-hmm.
Even against the Dodgers, they pitched pretty well. But against the freaking Cardinals, it's almost like, holy shit, the pressure's off.
Yeah,
we are rolling now. The Cardinals, I think, had the 10th best batting average in the National League. So it's not like they're world beaters. They're changing up their lineup tonight to try to get some sort of traction, but it's been historically dominant in this series. I'm stunned. I mean, Sanchez comes in, he pitches a gem. Scherzer a no hitter into the 7th or 8th. Same with Scherzer, and Strassi last night was pissed that they got one run on him. and that was a bullshit with an error.
Yep.
So, I mean, you can't ask for more than that. They're saving their bullpen. They're hiding their bullpen.
Well, they have to.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You just have to hope Corbin can match it, and end it tonight so people can get some rest. I know that you never want to mess up but I say screw that shit. You end it tonight.
Amen, brother. I'm so glad you brought that up because I heard that all day was, well,
100%. Jesus Christ.
If they lose or if they win, then how many days off? Just fucking win. Because I got news for you. Baseball is the one sport, unlike the others, where 3-0 deficits, I think it has the most comebacks of all the other sports in terms of playoff series. You see teams win 4 games in a row all the time because they play 8,000 games during the regular season.
Well, now, but not only that, you let them win 1, now they get some confidence. Yeah.
That's it.
Now you're coming
That's
back,
it.
and Scherzer pitches again or whomever, and they're not as sharp. Now, holy shit, dude, we're back in St. Louis up 3-2.
And not to mention, St. Louis has been there and done that, dude. This isn't their first rodeo. This is ours. We need to end this shit.
Every time you don't end it, your ass gets a little bit tighter.
Bingo.
And you just want to end it. That way you can pick your rotation. It's not like they just sit around for a week and do nothing. They go to the Bahamas and come back. They pitch simulated games. They play simulated games. It's not like they're not swinging the bats. They're getting work in. It's not obviously the same, but it's not like they're just sitting around. So I don't buy that shit at all. I think you end it
I don't
tonight.
either. And our biggest trump card on this team is the starting rotation. And even if they're not having a great game, if they can get 90, 100, 110 pitches into the game and leave giving yourself a chance, that's huge. And you have more chances to have games like that from your stud starters if they have a little bit of a break.
Absolutely. I mean, anybody that's saying they don't want to win tonight doesn't know anything about winning. I mean, just win the goddamn game. Shut the fuck up. Be happy.
Well, I mean, if they don't win tonight, if Corbin loses, then who pitches tomorrow?
That's right.
Is it
Back
Scherzer
to
or
Annabelle, right?
I think they probably put Sanchez back in, but
Do you
tomorrow
know-
I think the weather pitches tomorrow because that's another issue.
But what I'm saying is as well as he did the first game, and that's awesome. Do you trust him for 2 in a row of a gem like that? So you're not even pitching your starting 3 pitchers tomorrow, your best 3.
Right.
It's not like Scherzer goes back. You have to win tonight because if you don't win tonight, you may not win tomorrow, and it's reasonable thing. Now you're 3-2 going back to St. Louis, and everybody's you have to win tonight.
I agree.
There is no downside or benefit.
I'm hoping that we just kind of broke their spirit last night because Flaherty's a good pitcher.
Yes.
And he was rolling pretty good. I thought he got a little bit unlucky. I thought the Nats had some of the bat luck last night, and that's worked against us in the past. I mean, I'm not, played hard, hit the balls, where they needed to, but it's almost like you could see that St. Louis, side just kind of going, wow, how is this happening to us right now? And they're I think they're gripping the bats a little tight right now. I think they're frustrated at the plate because the pitchers from the Nats are doing a really nice job. They're not getting flustered when they get deep into the count. They're getting ground balls when they need to.
What I love is the K rate we're getting because a guy like Goldschmidt does not strike out, and he struck out like 4 times in the series. Fowler's 6, something. I mean, these guys, they're just it's almost more than dominance. It's pretty much ridiculous.
No, that's a good point.
But what happens if they lose tonight and then we roll out Sanchez and they roll out Wainwright, who pitches on 1 day short rest? He's a better pitcher than Sanchez.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I mean, you go back to Boston when they finally broke through and broke the curse. Everybody remembers them breaking through and how exciting it was. They were down 3-0 to the Yankees in the American League Championship Series.
Yeah.
And so this is not an unprecedented thing in modern history here where teams, I think even a couple years ago, there was a series, maybe even Ben Houston was involved, and whoever it was got it to 3-3, and then the other team ended up finally finishing them off in Game 7. But talk about unnervy for no reason. You go out there tonight, fucking get it done because it's one game at a time in baseball. Baseball's so weird in that regard.
I guess they would save Scherzer and Strasburg for 6 and 7.
I would.
Yeah, you almost have to because otherwise one of them's going on short rest, and that's not a good recipe either. And if you lose that game, then that guy's gone.
Yeah, but Jeremy, what if they get too much rest?
I mean, Dakota Hudson is a good pitcher.
Oh, he's very good. No, he's very good. Tonight, very interesting game. I think this might be the first game where it's like 9-7, 10-8. and you see some bullpen guys in there relatively early from both sides.
Yeah, and it's, on the other side of it is not the end of the world if you lose. You don't have to get demoralized. You lose a game, and the other team's going to come out fight. But I'm tired of the we shouldn't win yet. It's too quick. I mean, just fuck off.
That's just stupid.
I'm in a great mood, by the way. Obviously,
Jeremy is peppy this evening.
That's stupidity.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean,
I can't believe people bring that up. And what the hell are you doing? Obviously, aren't Caps fans.
We also have to think to your point, Todd. I think Corbin shuts them down because I just don't think their lineup's that good.
They look defeated a little bit.
Do we know what tweaks? I heard they made tweaks to the lineup. I have no idea what those tweaks are.
I'll research that and get back to you, Jeremy. Hold on.
Thank you.
Pete Methurst put it perfectly in the pregame shows. I was listening on the way over, and he said, so I'm pretty sure he just put all the names in a bag and then dropped them out, and the first 9 is what he was going to roll out. He goes, but you may as well at this point, because apparently they're a very even, deep lineup. Like, their pinch hitters are, they're very serviceable major leaguers. So I don't think they can go wrong. And again, St. Louis has now been here consistently for the last decade and a half. They have always been very relevant. They've won their own titles, and they've been relevant. So this is nothing new for them.
All right, so here are the changes that they list on ESPN. Tommy Edman, whoever that fuck is, he'll play third base and hit leadoff for the first time this postseason. My guess is he goes 4 for 4 with 2 home runs and say, fuck you, Jerry.
He sucked too, but Fowler's been leading off, so that's the change. They're putting leadoff spot.
Fowler's out, and they're putting a guy named Harrison Bader in at center field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pushing Fowler to the bench. Jose Martinez will draw another start in right, and he can hit. He has been hitting.
Well, of course he can hit. He's swinging the bat as we speak, even though the game hadn't started yet.
I love that guy, though.
Like
that guy's great, actually.
So the lineup for St. Louis is Edman at third, Martinez right field, Paul Goldschmidt at first.
He's such a good player.
Marcel Ozuna at left field, Yadier Molina at catcher, Paul DeJong at shortstop, Bader, Colton, Wong at second base, and Dakota Hudson the pitcher.
So that's not that much of a change.
It's really not. And you read off those names, that's a good lineup, man.
So Wong is the only lefty in the lineup, which isn't a surprise, given that Corbin is batting a $190 to lefties.
And I'm guessing, so the other guy, the guy they brought in for Fowler, who's a lefty, is also a righty.
Yes,
so
correct.
They're going righty heavy. Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, because against Corbin, lefties are 1 out of 10.
But I tell you, there's something about, and of course, this goes against what's going on right now in the American League. I mean, the American League, you had 2 teams win well over 100 games, and here they are facing off in the ALCS. That's exactly how you draw it up, right? But in the National League, you've got the 2 teams of the 5 that were in the tournament that had the least amount of wins in the regular season.
Yeah, went 1-2 and out first round.
Exactly. So there's just something about when the pressure's off as the favorite, when you've been the favorite before, you use the different fucking cliches, house money and all that bullshit. But there is something to be said for that. And we did say if the Nats get in, they're going to be a tough out because the pressure's off a little bit, And even in this series, they didn't have home field advantage. And now here they are with a chance to, to knock out St. Louis.
They have 2 opportunities at home to knock them out.
And you know what? These fans deserve it because we're not the biggest baseball fans in the world. We follow our local teams because they're our local sports teams, and we'll go to games and we'll have a few beers, and it's a fun, it's a fun day at the ballpark, whether it's Camden Yards or Nats Park. But there are hardcore baseball fans in this town, and I commend them for, being at games in May when it's 50 degrees and like you're playing the Marlins and it's like, holy shit, I'd rather be doing anything. And they are there because they are Nats fans. For their sake, I really hope they get it done in front of the home fans.
I go to 1 or 2 games a year.
Yeah. But I sit out in the red porch. I barely watch the fucking game.
Camden's a lot better.
Oh, Camden rocks. Yeah.
Camden rules. I'm completely biased.
Yeah. No doubt about it. But even when I'm
just to get in and out.
Even when I'm at Camden, I'm usually in the outfield. I'm usually like walking around a little bit, hitting up a pub, doing whatever. Watching the game for me, watching a full baseball game live, it doesn't have the allure.
I'm not a baseball guy.
No. But it is exciting to see this.
Oh, absolutely. I want all the Washington teams to win.
Hell yeah. And it's nice to see the casual fans that aren't as hardcore baseball centric really embracing this run. So
let's hope the next time we talk next week, we're not just like talking about the biggest fucking meltdown in MLB history.
See, that's just it. It wouldn't be the biggest in MLB history.
It would, right. Well, it would be for this one. Yeah, it would be in this sense. because when the Boston Red Sox came back and the Yankees, like you said, the Yankees had won 27 million fucking championships before, and it's embarrassing and it pisses you off. But at the end of the day,
you're still like, see all those banners?
Yeah, you're still like, no,
right.
Washington has no, this might be the one fucking chance they have.
See, that's the pessimist in me too. I was all fired up last night. I was like, damn, that was such a great game. We just put the hammer down. I haven't seen our teams do that. And that was my next thought. I was like, man, I hope we move on and win this thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's the pessimist in me. Mm-hmm. That's all of my teams choking.
Yeah, same here. You know,
how many times have we seen the Caps up 3-1 and fucking lose?
Absolutely. I don't know. I mean,
pretty much every year, other than the champion.
That's why you get ahead 4-0.
Yeah. Seriously, it's not over until you fucking win. So just win. Just win, baby.
You say it's not over until it's over.
Like when West Virginia was really good, and in 2007 they had a chance to win the national championship and go, and they lost.
They shit the bet against Pitt.
Yeah, they lost 13-9 to Pitt and LaShawn McCoy. I was like, who the fuck is LaShawn McCoy? Anyway, that guy.
Yeah. Turned out to be not bad.
Everybody was on suicide watch, and most everybody was just dumb rednecks going, I can't believe we didn't win. Fuck that guy. Right, blah blah blah. But the people who actually thought about it were upset because that was our shot.
Right.
There was no other time that's ever going to happen. That was the one freaking chance. So if you understand that, you only get one, unless you're Alabama,
I was going to say
Ohio State,
yes.
Or unless you're the Yankees or the Red Sox. And Washington's a big market team, but this may be the one freaking shot.
Yep.
Right?
The stars have aligned, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
because at some point, Strasburg's getting up there, Max is getting up there.
Yes.
Zimmerman is playing well in the postseason, and this is probably his swan song. But, Rendon may be gone.
Mm-hmm. Strauss has his opt-out, which he's almost definitely going to take. And the question is, do they re-sign him or does he go somewhere else?
And he has Boris.
Yep.
So
that motherfucker.
This is the one freaking
Can't
shot.
say I'm not jealous of him though.
No,
this is their one shot.
No, you're right. The stars have aligned. It appears that the path is there for them to not only they've already achieved more than they ever have before, but it appears that the path is there for them to win the whole fucking thing.
Right.
From Major League.
Let's win the whole fucking thing.
There's only one thing to do: win the whole fucking thing. Oh boy, come on, Nats, let's go!
Jesus Christ, can't hit a curveball.
So that was 17 minutes of riveting baseball talk. I'm proud of us.
Go Nats! That's the sum and sub and sub
part. But
well, hey, here's a wings, beers, and
cheers,
cheers to the Nats. Let's go.
Let's do it, boys.
All right. So we will turn our attention to our other aptly named Washington team, and instead of NATS Nats, it'll be CAPS Caps.
Is Reardon fired yet?
I knew it. I fucking knew it. All right, so here's the deal, Jerry. We did our fucking preview show, and I showed you the schedule, and I said that October was going to be a fucking gauntlet, and you were like, we better be like 10-4. And here we are, right where I thought we would be. Now, I will say this in your defense. I'm not happy with Reardon right now.
First of all, you don't need to defend me. I'll defend my fucking self.
So I am not happy with Reardon right now, but I give it pause because I believe there are enough stretches of games where I can see what this team can be, and I'm very excited about it. The problem right now is there are lapses during games that are god awful, and I don't really know how that's happening. And it's frustrating as a fan. Analytically, I can see exactly what they're doing, and they're working out the kinks, and they don't have all the parts and pieces they really want. I never thought I'd say this. Kempney coming back is going to be such a fucking shot of adrenaline.
Why the fuck isn't he back yet? He was supposed to be back after the first game. So did he have a setback, or are they just being a bunch of pussies and playing him until he's 100% and not even... I don't know. What are they waiting for?
I just think they're being careful because they did do well those first couple games. If they'd lost, gotten 1 or 2 points out of the first 4, they might say, shit, we can't go any further in the hole. But they bought themselves a little time getting 6 out of the first 8 points there. And, I just think that he didn't just tear a hammy. He destroyed it, whatever the hell happened. And I think that this injury is, I don't know if it's one of those that comes out of like, construction falls type of thing or car accidents, but they apparently have some pretty serious data about how long it takes before you can be full strength again. And I think they're really trying to ride that as far as they can.
I don't think he brings many wins. I mean, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's going to fit in well, but it's not like you're plugging him in and you're like, all right, now we're good.
No, but we kind of are, because what it does is it allows other players to play more meaningful minutes in their wheelhouse and not having to cover.
You don't have to shuffle Jensen and Davis around anymore. You get Siegs off the top pair.
You know what else we could do?
But what the number one thing is. I don't know if you'll actually figure this out, but I'll tell you if you don't. What they're missing.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Well,
I defer to you.
Yeah. Well, they're going to reinsert Stevenson into the lineup. So.
Yeah, Stevenson is fourth line center tomorrow night.
Jesus fucking Christ! We could play with 2 people on his line, and it wouldn't be any different. It wouldn't be any different if he didn't play on his line. It wouldn't be
so have nobody else.
If he missed a shift and just didn't go out and play with 2 people,
Coach Ford, so that's fine.
We'd have the same fucking result.
So hockey's funny, right? Because the year we won the cup, we definitely had stretches of that season that we were not good. And I want to say it was Thanksgiving-ish, because that's usually when coaches get the axe in the NHL, because you still have enough time to come back. There's enough points to be had on the board.
Pittsburgh a couple years ago.
Correct. And Trotz's name was getting thrown out there. And they were like, he's such a good guy. He got him to play the right way, but he can't get us over the hump.
Last year was deal, all that stuff.
Does he need to go out the door? And it took us a while to find our stride. I don't think Reardon's job is in jeopardy, and I don't think he is the issue. I would like to see a little bit more consistency, and I'm going to use this word. I'd like to see a little more pizzazz from the coaching staff.
A little bit more fucking fire. That's what I'm talking about. You can go out and kick him in the balls, and he just looks at you like, okay, we're ready to play.
I don't want anybody kicking anyone in the balls with skates on. However, I would like to see a little bit of shakeup with the power play units, with our zone entries on the power plays, with our PK units. They are playing your generic fucking Hockey 101 box defense right now. And is it personnel? Is it the fact that they've got guys who they would rely on the PK that also have to play the power play at times? I'm not quite sure, but we seem very vanilla and bland on special teams when I was hoping for a little bit more innovation. And
another thing, this motherfucker Richard Panik, is that his name? Mm-hmm. When is he going to fucking get a point? I mean, right now he has 0 points in 5 shots. That guy is a major disappointment so far.
Did they drop him to the 4th line?
I believe so.
Can they drop him to the 5th line?
So you can play with Stevenson?
Stevenson.
Oh, your boy.
Dude, I sent this text out, and I know Jeremy was fucking fuming. He was probably just sitting around after he received the text, put the phone down, and walked around his house to cool it off.
But I was during the game last night. I tell you, I honestly didn't read it.
But he has Siegenthaler has more points than him, and I said if Stevenson really steps it up and plays hard, maybe he'll have more points than him. Yeah, and everybody laughed except for Jeremy. I know he was like, "Fuck that guy, fuck Jerry, you fucking suck." I don't hate you, you suck.
Oh, that's right. You were like Jeremy probably hates me. Yeah. Jeremy was like, "No, I don't hate you. You just suck."
But
that one I did read.
But Stevenson is exactly what I thought he is. I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at the coaching staff for keep playing him when he is what he is. He's never going to be a productive player.
So I'm not happy with the 4th line either at all. I'm not even going to sit here and defend Stevenson. I think Panik has been very underwhelming. I will say this though, there are way bigger issues. If you're worrying about your 4th line,
you're right.
Mix up this early in the season, you're definitely looking at the red herring.
Number one biggest issue is Braden Holtby because he sucks right now.
Holtby is not seeing the puck well.
Holtby's
not fantastic.
He's not playing good.
All right, let's save that real quick. We'll have our Holtby discussion here in a minute. I am, and I know this is sacrilege in this house, I am really disappointed with Tommy Wilson right now.
Me too, man.
And I'm disappointed with Vrana because Vrana's my guy. Tommy's your guy.
I thought Vrana's been playing pretty well, though.
Wilson had goals in 3 straight games.
He does. He got knocked down to the 3rd line, I believe. He was responsible for 2 out of the first 3 goals yesterday.
He only has 2 goals, by the way, for the whole year.
Maybe it must have been points then.
Yeah, he was floating in fucking space yesterday twice against a young upstart team that was skating well from the beginning, and his lack of defensive awareness cost them 2 goals. And people
Like
were like,
some new ass or something. Sorry, Holly.
and I'm talking about Verona right now.
Him too.
He was shit in the first period yesterday. You know,
Those guys look disinterested, and against Colorado, when you look disinterested, they pummel you.
Oh, absolutely. And guess what? Tomorrow night, Toronto comes into town,
Yeah.
and they're going to fucking roll us unless we get our shit together.
And because you're playing Toronto and all the refs, right, Jeremy?
Always.
Always. When it's Toronto, man, every call is going against you.
All right, so here's my little thing on Holtby. Well, no. I'll let you take the Holtby thing away. So what do you think is the issue? What do you think? Do you think he's just...
I think he's disinterested at the moment. I think he thinks it's a long season.
You think he can just flip the switch? It's
He
a
seems to
contract
get
year?
rattled more than he used to. I thought his strength was always he never gets rattled. He gives up an easy one. But now they seem to come in bunches. And Samsonov looks much...
He's fucking good.
Yeah, he looks
He's
much
really good.
clearer. I mean, he looks more focused. It almost like, my first thought was, well, he's probably not playing against the good teams like Holtby is, but also maybe the defense is just playing better in front of him, and he's not really taking the chances that Holtby's taking. But that doesn't make sense when you do repetitive games, right? So I don't know.
Holtby,
there's just something about Holtby that doesn't look like he's zoned.
So I'm going to play both sides of the coin here.
God damn it is all I got to say, but I'll get back to that.
Jeremy crunching the stats as we speak.
Yeah. Twitterverse.
So here's my 2-sided coin here, right? On the one hand, Holtby won you a championship, and when you look at the trajectory of his career and his seasons, they are not very consistent. He has been a very up and down goalie, even in the championship years. Grubauer fucking started the playoffs that year.
Right.
Grubauer was our horse in March and April to even get us into the playoffs to position ourselves that year. So Holtby has never been he's never been your Lundqvist. He isn't that guy that plays 68 games and is just your horse and then you ride him into the playoffs. He's a very up and down goalie. When he's on, he's brilliant. See Stanley Cup run. When he's off, see the first period last night. And my whole thing with Holtby, I love the guy. He's great. Even when he's been at his best, he will let in a goal or two that you just go, you got to fucking make that save. At some point as a goalie, it's not your fault. If you watch the 3 shots back yesterday in isolation, none of them were his fault per se. You got to save at least one of them.
Here's my problem. And the record,
it's just one.
Yeah, the record is not. It's not anything what you didn't say it was going to be. I'm not surprised by the record. They've been playing right. It's the way they've lost. They've been up.
I agree.
They've been up in the third period in most games, and they collapse repeatedly. So I don't understand why. Repeatedly, I think 3 consecutive games they had the lead in the third period. One of which was like a 3-goal lead in the third period. I think it was the Nashville Predators got
it was 4-2, I think.
Right.
But anyway,
so they can't close it out. And that's what bothers me, right? If they were tied in the third period and then the other team gets a goal, okay. But when you have a chance to get 2 points against a good team and you're basically stealing points that we all didn't think they were going to get, and then they blow it, that's what's fucking frustrating. Like they could have the start that I said they were going to have, or I hoped they were going to have, but they blew it at the end. It's not like they weren't in the games. The last game, that shit was over before it started. They just weren't ready to fucking play.
Right.
They just didn't want to, for whatever reason, they didn't want to play.
Well, I mean, obviously the start of the game was bad because they certainly wanted to play at the end. If it wasn't for that, I think it was probably the right call on the offside. I mean, they're back within a goal with 2 minutes to go, and they honestly probably win the damn game because they were rolling them at that point. But that's where, to your guys' point, Holtby needs to be better because none of the 3 goals were awful, but the first one, just get down your damn butterfly.
Thank you for saying that, Jay.
Greeny did the exact same thing later in the game. So it's just
he's
the 2 best goalies in the world, and they can't fucking stop him. Whatever. But, again, none of them are really his fault, but it's one where if he stops one of them, different game.
Bingo. Thank you.
Of course, I can't go on any kind of even mini rant without talking about the assholes and stripes. They were fine, except I'm watching this game. Kuzi gets hooked. Possession change. Hathaway cross-checked. Possession change. Like, you know what? Okay, they're letting us play this game. Well, that lasted about 6 minutes. Then they started calling shit. It's like, you know what? Go fuck yourself. They make one of those calls, it's a completely different game. They may still not win the game, but that's what pisses me off about these, idiot referees who think they're the show. Call the goddamn game consistently. Hopefully the players play consistently. But you know what? You get paid to do a job. You can't fucking do it right. We need to investigate. We have a lawyer here. This is fraud. It's a federal fraud case because this shit's broadcast all across. It's really international law. I don't know if we can get involved in that. But,
all I heard is international law. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
That's not your specialty, Jerry.
I thought he was talking about refs, and then
he went right to the mafia,
he
dude.
went right.
Yeah, racketeering. Throw it all in there.
He went from referees to litigation. That's all.
Oh, that's fucking great. What a great way.
There's got to be some RICO stuff in there somewhere.
No, but again, when you have a goalie of the ilk that Holtby is, you have to make saves that aren't the normal save. You have to make a game-changing save. And to your point, Jay, you're down 2-0 early. If he saves the third one and that game stays at 2-0, I think we win that game.
Yeah, I agree. And the only thing I will say is, I'm not going to sit here and say he's played well. He obviously hasn't. His save percentage is probably around like 70 right now. It's not good.
It's not good at all.
Oh, because he was like 868 or something like that going into the game, and then 3 goals and 3 shots. That's bad. But I actually don't think he looks rattled. I think he's got the same. It kind of pisses you off almost because you're like, shouldn't you be more pissed off he's gave up that goal? I think he's just thinking, he's like, what the fuck am I doing? I think that's the look he's got on his face. Now, hopefully that's, what am I doing? I know what I need to do better, not what am I doing? I don't know what to do.
So here's
who they got this week. They
Let's
got
say Toronto, right?
They got Toronto, then they got the Rangers and the Blackhawks. That's the next 3.
Yep. And they really need to take 5 out of 6 points, in my opinion, because we gave away 2 on the road at Nashville. And if you go, hey, Nashville came back hard in the third, fine. The thing that pissed me off about that game, we gave up the 2 tying goals so easily without any fight.
I fell asleep. It's not just baseball. I fall asleep.
I was like, fuck, dude, what the hell are we doing? Then we righted the ship. We completely dominated play. We got the 5th goal, and I'm like, oh, we're good now. And then we gave up 2 again. Not only did we give up the tying goal, we gave 4 goddamn goals in one period.
4 goals in one period, yeah.
In the third period.
I don't think I saw any of those goals.
They could just
awful.
fall on the puck every time and do better than that.
Jay, we
went
went
up.
up.
Wallerson goal from the commercials.
We went up 5-4 and proceeded to give up 2 2-on-1s in a row, in which they scored on the second one, and then right off the face-off, they came in and a point shot went right in, and Hope looked like he never saw it, and it was like, holy shit.
Fucking
is this
Stevenson.
Like a Pee-wee game?
Fucking Stevenson, dude.
I don't even think he played that game.
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Well, hey.
For Jerry's sake, I'm going to say he did.
All right.
Long season.
So they're in second place. They got, 8 points? Right? They're
it's early.
They're
it's
well
early.
positioned. They're going through the gauntlet like we all said we were. But now it's time to start racking up some points.
And I'm 100% with you. I expected this record. I did not expect it this way. Right. We're way too up and down right now.
And Carolina is good.
Carolina's very good. And by the way, the Devils aren't nearly as good as I thought they were.
Fuck them, dude.
And didn't Carolina lose to Columbus?
I think so.
Columbus sucks my ass.
All right, whatever.
That's interesting.
They're pretty good. All I know is when you play Carolina, it's like you're playing an extra skater at all points because they're so fucking fast and they're everywhere.
It's probably because Brendan Moore's cheating.
He could be. Hey, man, there's no reason the Caps yesterday looked outclassed in the first period. And I mean outclassed in terms of skating. And then flipped the script in the second period.
That means they can do it. They
Correct.
just weren't ready to do
Bingo.
it. Yeah.
And that's what pisses me off. And I know that's what pisses you off, too.
That's what I'm saying. Fuck Reardon.
It would piss him off no matter what. So that's fine. At least
How do
we're
we get
consistent.
Brindamore?
So we'll trade Holtby for Brindamore.
We'll trade Stevenson for Brindamore.
Can we get Tomlin?
Yeah.
Tomlin.
Oh, there's the segue, Jeremy. You had to fucking do it, you asshole.
Here's some breaking news. It's not nothing official, but it's from everybody starting to report this Cleveland thing now.
This was my goddamn it, by the way.
See, this is what's on dogpounddaily.com.
I'm sure they fucking know anything.
I think Frank runs it.
They said that here is why the Browns it's starting to get leaked that they're talking to the Redskins about Trent Williams. They have a guy named Greg Robinson at left tackle, and he's pretty good. But they have a guy named Chris Hubbard at right tackle, and he's terrible. Okay. So what they'd like to do is they'd like to move Greg Robinson over to right tackle and insert Williams at left tackle. They just traded their second-round pick from 2018, Austin Corbett, to the Rams, and John Dorsey basically admitted they reached for him and it was a mistake. So they are reshuffling their offensive line.
Got it.
In terms of what the potential trade would be, the rumor is that the tight end David Njoku.
That was goddamn it.
Yeah, David Njoku he's out for most of the year with a wrist injury.
Yeah. Well, and
a concussion.
And a 1.
Perfect.
Concussion. And a 1 for Trent Williams. So the Cleveland people are trying to say if it's the tight end plus a 2, then you definitely do it, no brainer. A 1, I'm not really sure. But if you don't think the season's lost, then a 1 and a tight end, that does make sense, especially if he's expendable because they have this guy Cleveland and Ricky Seals-Jones who can step in and take over for
he has about 3 good games a decade or so. It's good.
So
he's been around for a while.
Now this is
Arizona recently.
Right. Obviously, if Njoku's got he's 6'4", 246, so obviously he's not much of a blocker, but he's Jordan Reed.
I've had him on my fantasy team the last 2 years.
Right.
He's very underwhelming.
He managed to concuss himself and hurt his wrist on the same play.
So if you're the Redskins, you don't take him unless you get a 1.
Yes, because
you need a 1.
Agreed.
Because of why, Jay? Why are you getting injured players?
Right.
Why?
Why do we need more injured players? I mean, I can see.
Do you think that's how Bruce negotiates? He's like, yeah, I see your healthy list. Give me your injured
list.
Who's
the most injured guy who has the highest ceiling, so it looks like we did something right?
Right. I mean, but to that end, I was always advocating for the Baltimore tight end, the big Hayden Hurst kid, and a 1 for Trent Williams, thinking that they could still use him. But so it does make sense if you get the medicals on this tight end and they check out okay.
Right.
It's not like he's had 75 concussions like Reed, but if he's had 1 or 2 and he's got a wrist and he could come back and play this year, but you're getting a 1. If you don't get a 1 and something else
is the key. That was not the report I saw.
Because you can here's
you have to have the 1 to trade for Tomlin.
Right.
So
yeah, that would be oh my god, that'd be classic Skins, right? But here's the thing about the Skins. By Trent Williams not reporting, even if he reports, if he doesn't play any games, his contract I read today goes another year. So that's why he would be a better trade candidate after the year is over because the team could get him on 1 more year plus another year.
I see.
Oh yeah, still have 2 years.
So they still have 2 years.
So it's more enticing for the trade partner.
For the trade. So that's why they say don't play yet.
Got it.
And if you're the Redskins, you might want to entertain letting him sit out all year, and then now you're not under any pressure. You're not under any time pressure. Who gives me the best deal, and I take it.
I love this analysis.
Set the clock
because this sounds very, very sound. It sounds
Which
like
means it's not going to work out
exactly. Because I got news for you. I fucking hate this organization right now.
Oh, I hate them,
dude. Watching the game Sunday, worst game of pro football I've seen in quite some time, and the fucking Redskins are so bad. They almost allowed.
It was their worst game this season. They fucking won somehow, but that was by far their worst game.
Awful.
It was to listen to the people on the radio break the game down.
Oh,
like they're actually. It
was like chewing glass.
This is what Case Keenum did. Fuck that. Don't spend a minute on telling me how to fucking.
I'm pretty sure Randy Barber watched the game blindfolded because he didn't get one thing right the whole fucking time.
I will guarantee.
He could have been a referee.
I'm not going to guarantee you.
They got at least one thing right, maybe.
I strongly believe that the Miami Dolphins tried to throw the game because here's why. They sucked all game except when Rosen was in. When Fitzpatrick came in, he was lighting them up.
But that's why they didn't. I mean, they wouldn't have put Fitzpatrick in if they were throwing the game. I mean,
no. Hear me out. He comes up, he scores 2 touchdowns on basically 2 possessions.
Right.
He's got the momentum. You kick the extra point, and then you're fucking rolling in overtime. You get the ball, you score again, and you win. Right? I bet you the fucking owner of the Dolphins is like, what the fuck are you doing? Go for 2 and run a play that has no chance of making it.
Okay, so
and if you do have a chance, then drop it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were on the mic to Brian fucking Flores saying, go for 2 and run a play where the pass is behind the fucking line of scrimmage.
What they run, Jeremy?
Had James Franklin in the house.
They ran a fucking bubble screen.
A bubble screen in the pros.
No,
and
but
the
see,
fucking pros on the 2-yard line with it right into the teeth of the defense.
The perfect joke was, though, they didn't go for 2. They went for Tua. Ha, 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 ha.
And you know what? God, I will applaud them for having a plan because the Redskins are a disaster. I'm not going to go down the road of how fucking dysfunctional they are and how much they piss me off. It's been noted. Got it. They can't even suck correctly. You said it last week. They can't even
That's definitely
tank.
a problem.
They can't even tank the right way. What the fuck are they doing?
I firmly believe that Dan Snyder has instructed Callahan not to play Dwayne Haskins because he can't run the risk of him looking bad, of Dwayne Haskins coming out and looking bad. So he has told them, do not play him until we get better. That's why he's not playing. You can't tell me that Dwayne Haskins could not have started and put up 17 fucking points against the Miami Dolphins. He would have played better than Case Keenum.
That was a game that set up for him to throw for 303 touches.
He would have played better.
I really believe that. He may have had 2 picks in there.
Does he not know how to throw the ball to Terry McLaurin?
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
Well, and if McLaurin doesn't drop that one, it's probably 2+ and 3 touchdowns.
Right.
Just with Keenum in there.
Bingo.
So they're
not
not.
that Terry deserves any criticism. That kid's on fire. I love him.
Who, McLaurin?
Yeah.
I think he's a stud.
He's
man.
amazing.
He's
good.
probably best receiver in the draft.
But here's the thing.
But stop playing him.
Right, no. Here's the thing. It doesn't scare. It pisses me off. Obviously, that Haskins is not playing. It pissed me off last week. I was screaming. People were texting me like, "What the fuck's your problem? Calm down." I thought you were going to
Don't do that anyway. Pretty much.
But it's the fact that I believe Dan Snyder's making the call.
Yeah, I think you're probably
fucking
right.
believe Dan Snyder and Bruce Allen are making the call, and that's why this organization will never fucking win.
Right.
But I have a solution.
Let's hear it.
I have the solution.
Counselor, let's hear it.
The Redskins are first among equals of all the teams, right, in the Washington area. So when the Redskins suck, everybody's angry. But that's because the Nationals aren't winning either, and the Caps are always frustrating, and the Wizards are fucking terrible, right? So there's really, of all the shitty and disappointing teams in Washington, they're the first among equals. But what's happened in the past couple of years? The fucking Caps win the Stanley Cup. That puts more pressure on the Redskins. The Mystics win for whatever that's worth, right?
Mystics.
Right?
Good job, Mystics.
But that's another championship. The Nationals are doing well. So now it becomes, you're the only team that's not fucking relevant.
Yep.
So we're not even going to talk about you anymore. We don't even we're not even angry. We're past anger.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Redskins are afraid of becoming, they're already irrelevant in the league, but irrelevant in the city. That's what they're afraid of. That's what will make Bruce Allen leave. So I see this shift of the more the Nationals win and the more the Caps are good. And, those two teams being good really sort of takes the fans' eyes off the Redskins. We're not even mad anymore.
Right.
No one even calls into the radio stations to complain anymore. Nobody does. I mean, I listen to it, and nobody calls in.
I can't actually listen to the radio station, so
but they don't, and it's
just
like
awful.
It's like they're trying to have Redskins conversations. I think Chad Duke said the other day, why is nobody calling? Nobody's. That's how you get Bruce Allen out.
Right.
When they're not even where they don't even care enough to be angry, and they're being embarrassed by the other team who the fans are now concentrating on, the Nats.
Yep.
That's how you get them out.
Now you make me want them to keep sucking because I love the lack of Redskins talk on the radio. It's fantastic.
Well, they're going to keep sucking because now they play two teams who are going to wipe their ass.
I hope so. No, seriously. The only way for this team to have any shift for the future is to completely blow it up at the front office administration level. And I just see no signs of that happening. We could go 1-15. And Bruce Allen will stand up there and he'll go,
damn good culture.
We had 6 or 7 games that could have gone either way. Hey, those go our way. We're sitting there at 7-9, just like we thought we'd be. And I really, honest to God, think they believe that.
I get it. Alex Smith got injured. It's not their fault, and it really fucked them up. It did. It just fucked them up cap wise. You lose the most important player at the most important position, and he's still counting. You still have to pay him. He's still counting on your cap. That's just bad luck. But the culture is terrible, and until it doesn't matter who the coach is irrelevant. The guy who's calling the shots in terms of talking to the players.
Right.
I mean, you cannot have Dan Snyder talking to players. You can't. If I'm a new coach or a GM that comes in, I say I want it in my contract that you will not talk to players.
Right.
He won't hire you because he loves doing that shit.
Right.
I believe 100% he's in Dwayne Haskins' ear all the time, telling this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to do it. This is how, and he's going to ruin the fucking team because when Dwayne Haskins, like RG3, doesn't get his way, he's going to run Dan Snyder, and the coach is going to have no balls
Right.
and no power, and everybody's going to disregard it, just like they did with Shanahan. So,
Well, he's already ruined the team. He's ruined the franchise. He took something that was just the face of the league, one of the crown jewels of the league, and he just shit all over
but
it.
how do you fix it? You fix it by hiring someone who will tell him to his face, I don't want you anywhere near the players.
And he won't hire anyone that's going to say that.
Then if
so
they don't,
we're going to be in this vicious cycle of suck.
It doesn't matter who you hire.
Fuck.
It
I hate
doesn't
talking
matter.
about them.
It doesn't even matter who you hire.
The only person that I would say it matters if they hire, and I don't even want him because they're going to have to give up assets, is Tomlin.
You don't have to give up shit. They're going to fire his ass after the year's over.
See, I don't think so.
I don't think they are.
I think they will.
I think
The fan base in Pittsburgh does not like Mike Tomlin.
well, they're not
tired of
intelligent.
Mike.
So
I know they're not intelligent, but I mean, at some point,
sorry, Hoof.
if you're Pittsburgh, you lost Antonio Brown, you lost the running back, Ben's on his last leg,
and elbow.
Well said.
It's time to redo everything.
Right.
It's time for a reset.
See, but they're a good. See, this is why you might be right because they're a good franchise that's run correctly. They might blow it up and start over, and then they'll be relevant again in 2 years.
Oh, I get it.
And
But
we'll
I'm saying,
be 6-10 still with fucking Case Keenum at quarterback.
If you're trying to build a program and you make a trade for a fucking coach, I don't give a shit if it's Bill Belichick. You're a fucking idiot. I mean, that's just
But it's not unprecedented. It's been done.
Well, the thing is, though, with
I don't
the
give a fuck if
Redskins,
it's been done. Not for the shitty ass team like this.
I
who
agree with
needs
you.
play.
Yeah.
They
Well, I
need to
agree
get
with you.
picks.
give him Jordan Reed in the 7th or something. That's fine. But that new coach needs assets. And the only reason why I say Tomlin,
Not a chance in the fucking world they'll make a trade for a coach. Not a chance in the world.
I hope
Not
not.
even those fucking morons.
Eh.
Not even.
I don't trust them not to at all.
Well said. I put nothing past them.
No, that's what bugs me because I know it's just the Twitter bullshit, but that's what the Williams rumors start today. They say they're building assets to go after Tomlin because they've been talking about Tomlin for like 2 weeks. And the only reason I don't think they fired him is I don't know if it was Keim or somebody was reporting that 1 year left after the season, Tomlin?
Correct.
Something like that.
Correct.
Yes.
They say that they're basically in this situation, and I think this was maybe even a Pittsburgh beat guy that got with Keim on this or whoever it was, and said that they let him run that show in terms of if they'll say, hey, do you want to go here? If you do, we'll trade you. If you don't, we won't. It's that simple. And so to me, I think they're going to keep him definitely through this season and probably through the end of his contract. Now, after that, I don't know because of exactly the reasons Jerry has mentioned. But I think he's there as long as he basically wants to be.
All right, so can we switch to the Ravens?
Yes, please. Anything.
The Ravens are 4-2. First place.
Just got Peters, right?
In the AFC. They just traded for AFC East. They just traded for the cornerback Marcus Peters. They traded Kenny Young in a 5th-round pick.
Good move.
Kenny Young's a pretty good ball player, but
He's not bad, but Peters helps them.
Well, Peters, they are desperate for bodies, and they tried to get Ramsey. But they're desperate for bodies in the cornerback, in the defensive backfield. He's a good player. He's a major upgrade. He automatically steps into CB1, cornerback one.
Nice.
And it's hard to argue because they're in first place in that division, but that division's not great.
No.
And I still don't think they played well last weekend.
They have been. I think. Now I say this,
But they're finding a way to win,
well, they're
and that's what they
4-2,
do.
But they are running the ball at a historic pace. They're about ready to break the National Football League record in rushing yardage, right? But after that strong beginning, Hollywood Brown's not doing much.
Mm-hmm.
It really Lamar throws to Andrews or nobody.
Pretty much.
right? I mean, he's their guy. It's not like their other wide receivers are making much noise. Ingram,
Willie Snead every once in a while.
right? Ingram,
Once is probably the right number there.
right? Ingram is starting to come on a little bit. He had some nice
he
runs
looks,
last
he
week.
looks good. I like him.
Yeah, he's a solid player.
But now they play the Seahawks and then the Patriots. So the next two, if they can win one of those, but they certainly needed a trade for a cornerback, and so this appears to fit a need. And he's going to come in and step away. I mean, him and Humphrey are decent.
Yep.
That's a decent tandem right there. When Jimmy Smith comes back, be even better.
Yeah, no, they're funny because I think they're trying to find themselves right now a little bit. They had
definitely.
they had what they thought was going to be, a formula for winning, and it really hasn't played out the way they thought. Well, but that's why I give them a ton of credit because they're just fucking tough.
Lamar is not as good throwing the ball as we had hoped.
No, I agree. Bingo, you nailed it.
He hasn't progressed like the way that they had said he had and hoped he had.
Yep, waiting for that dynamic game where you watch him play and you see glimmer and just little bits and pieces of Russell Wilson or Mahomes or whatever, with the way they can just be elusive and get the ball down the field. He's elusive, and then he puts himself back into a corner.
If he doesn't run, he's not special.
Yeah, you nailed it. I was hoping that wasn't the case, but that's the way it's playing out right now.
Well, this is not a specific comment because I haven't watched enough of him this season to know, but this is based, piling on what Jerry said and also based on our earlier, preseason comments and things. My guess is part of this is this new offense, and you can tell me if this doesn't make any sense, just isn't really ready to dominate. I don't know if that's the right word either, but basically, new offense. It's going okay. It's probably a B minus, C plus. It's winning them some games. But you need to know, if this is really that newfangled or whatever it is, they either need to execute it right every time or need to figure out what to do when it's not going right. And sometimes that's tough. Right. They're still 4-2, and maybe they figure it out. But it just seems like whatever they were trying to do is certainly not working, on all cylinders.
Here's an interesting fact about Young, the linebacker that was traded. He was a healthy scratch against Pittsburgh, and he didn't play it down against the Bengals last week. So he had been replaced by a guy named Josh Burns.
Okay.
So that makes the trade look even better. It's not like you're losing any starters.
Yeah. No, they are a class organization. It's run correctly. And even if they aren't living up to the expectations that were possibly a bit too lofty, they are still finding a way to win games. And there they are at the top of the division, still trying to improve themselves, still trying to muddle it through, as it were. And maybe this offense, like Jeremy says, maybe they're just, a play or two away here or there, or, a read or two away that he just hasn't had the opportunity to do yet at this level,
It's just figure out when to do what with this new scheme. This isn't your typical, it's not a West Coast, it's not a RPO, it's not a read option, it's some hybrid of all of that. And, it's not always going to be easy. That's all I'm saying.
And I think that's what they're finding a little bit is it's not nearly as dynamic as I think they were hoping, or at least the fans were hoping.
I would completely agree with that.
But hey, they're finding a way to win.
Well, the next 2 weeks at Seattle and then home to the Patriots. They got to win
huge
one of those
games.
Got to win one of them.
Huge games.
Yeah, it's tough because we were talking about division, and I mean Cincinnati. Did they win yet?
No,
they're winning.
So they're toast. But Cleveland is good enough, unfortunately. And how does Pittsburgh? I don't even know who they beat, but how do they go out and win with a third-string quarterback?
Because Tomlin's a fucking good coach. That's why.
I agree. They got a good culture.
Yeah.
Damn good culture.
Damn good culture over there.
All right, what the fuck happened to Maryland?
We'll take it down a level to our college football.
I will say this: West Virginia won't win another game all year. Just saying that.
They showed up all right last weekend, didn't they?
No, it's 48-13.
Oh, was it really? Jesus Christ! Okay.
Well, see, it's funny because I wasn't watching.
Was that the Texas game or was that something else?
No, that was Iowa State. I wasn't watching the game.
We talked last week how we thought the line was crazy.
Yeah, I did. I don't have any respect for Iowa State, but
spoiler: Iowa State covered.
Well, I wasn't watching the game, and Holly goes, "Have you watched the game?" I said, "No, I'm recording it." And she goes, "Well, it's tied." And this was like the game started at 4. It was like 7. And I was like, "Well, okay." We go to dinner at 7:20. I look at my phone. They're down 48-14.
Jesus.
And I was like, I thought you said they were tied like 20 minutes ago. And she goes, oh, I was talking about in the first quarter. I was like, you didn't even give me updated information here. I had taken there the fourth quarter tied. I look at it as 48-14. 13 or whatever the fuck it is.
All right, so I followed the Maryland progress
We'll watch
live,
the whole thing, so I'll chime in after time.
and then I watched it back painfully on DVR. Less painful than in real time, obviously. So I watched it with some jaded glasses because I knew what was going on. Talk about the Caps having a shitty start and a slow start last night. That's what the Terps looked like. They looked like they were running in mud, and I don't know what was worse, was the first quarter or Purdue's helmets.
I'd say the first quarter.
Yeah, definitely the first quarter, in my opinion. Now, this gets back to something we've been talking about with Maryland in all their losses, really. It's like when something goes wrong, they just don't seem like they know what to do. And then on top of that, Piggy, and I love Piggy. I forget which side. I know there was a dollar bet somewhere. I don't remember which side of the fence you guys were on, so this is not a shot at whoever was saying it. But all over, the message boards and things, back to last season. Oh, if Canada plays Piggy, we're better. It's never a fair fight. Why did Jackson get the job? Oh, it's going to play at Virginia Tech. Piggy's better. Piggy fucking sucked on Saturday. He was so bad.
Jerry called that one.
I felt bad for him because it's almost like I don't know if it was the play call. I don't know what the problem was. But, what was it, 40-14? Was that the final?
Correct.
A 14-point swing is 100% on him, just with horrendous, not even kind of bad, horrendous decisions.
That pick six at the end of the half was...
Pick six at the end of the half. The other pick they had in plus territory, they're driving, they're on fire, they're going to score on that possession.
Yep.
And that just, it's... I know people love to shit on coaches and shit on say, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They're playing favorites, this, that, and the other. Well, the exact thing that we sort of, even if we didn't know it, that we saw, even with with Jackson, he usually would chuck the ball so far out of bounds, you'd be like, what was he trying to do there? Piggy doesn't do that. He still throws the ball and there's nothing there. And it's like, again, I know he's trying, especially later in the game, but it's obviously his decision making. I mean, obviously he had a great touchdown run. I felt like his athleticism, shined, but he would almost get himself, he's like, hey, I'm free again. And then he just throw a terrible pass. It's like, you're better off getting sacked.
Dude, we gave up 40 fucking points to Purdue. And granted, I know there's a pick six. I know we didn't take care of the ball, but that's fucking awful.
Yeah, well, I don't know what they did, but they were solid. I was not expecting that, especially all their injuries and stuff.
That's so pathetic to hear.
They were good.
The Syracuse game seems like 4 years ago.
Doesn't it, though?
10.
Doesn't it, though?
Yeah. And now, like, all the hype we had at the beginning of the season.
I know.
And all the confidence, and you beat Penn State, now you're doing on something special. It's all gone now. I mean, it's all like,
I don't even know what to say. Jeremy made a really good point. It's like when they go bad, they go so terribly bad.
Yeah, when they lose, it's like they get crushed.
Yeah, the wheels
or when
fall
they
off.
win, they crush.
So when I was following along in real time, and we were just getting rolled early, I was like, damn it! And I looked back, and it was 20-14. And I'm like, all right, cool. We had an awful first quarter. Got our shit together a little bit. We're gonna right the ship. This thing's gonna go down to the wire. It's gonna be 37-31. Hopefully we're on the winning side, but whatever. And then I looked back, and it was 30-14.
Right.
It just kept getting worse and worse. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Just to make it even worse than that, I would say that I never really felt like it was going to come back down to the wire, even though I would have said that before the game, because they were not in it. But I want to say they forced a fumble like 10 minutes left in the fourth. And, where they could have gone and made it at least a respectable score, they just, again, kept going the wrong direction. And
yeah, that's the part of it that, unfortunately, because again, I am going to support Loxley until he gives me a reason not to. But
gives you an Xbox. Okay.
Yeah, right, exactly. Nintendo. No, but the coaching staff seems a bit, when things are going great, they are a well-oiled machine. Mm-hmm. The second it goes poorly, like you said, they'll look around. No one knows what's going on, and that players and coaches.
And I think Locks will learn that. I don't know if it's just he'll change his demeanor a little bit. He'll talk to his OC or DC and try to figure something out. But even he looks frustrated and flustered. And,
he does.
I'm not going to sit here and say body language matters. Who cares? But his is not good, and I think that I actually expect more from him because I do think he can do the job. And I think the team feeds off of him. And right now it's just things aren't great, But again, we were too positive early in the season. as long as they can keep learning this year, obviously a bowl is pretty much out of the question now unless they, really turn something around. But just, improve a little bit each week. And that's something that actually hasn't been happening either. And that's what bothers me.
Yeah, I agree.
Before we get off tonight, I want to tell you about a game I did watch over the weekend, which was the JMU Villanova game. And that was a really good game.
There's a lot of talent on those two squads, by the way.
Villanova came in top 5, and JMU was top 5. Villanova was undefeated. I think JMU had one loss to West Virginia. But they played. It was they ended up winning 38-24, but the game was much closer than that. They got a couple late touchdowns. But what was cool is Villanova's running backs from Damascus.
Yes.
Nice.
A couple linemen were from Frederick County type thing,
Nice.
like Oakdale.
Hell yeah.
And then JMU has 3 or 4 kids from Good Counsel, including the running back.
No shit.
So it was a couple kids from Frederick.
Oh, that's kind of awesome. A
Couple
little
kids
local flavor
so
in that game.
Both teams had starters and guys who were playing from Montgomery County.
Oh, cheers.
So it was
That's awesome.
it was cool to
In
watch
Frederick
that.
County.
Yeah, in Frederick County, yeah, but
That's,
it was
that's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, so that was an interesting game to watch. And good game. It was 24-24 going into the fourth.
That level of play in the top 10 in that division in college football is legit.
I'm gonna tell you something that you guys may not agree with. James Madison Stadium is better than Byrd. It is beautiful.
It's awesome.
It is beautiful.
We drive by it from time to time, and
When you go down to your estates, yeah. I know.
fuck off.
When your butlers are driving you,
Yes.
Yeah, because that's what butlers do, jackass.
whatever. Your driver,
Butler chauffeur. It's
whatever.
Yeah, their stadium,
it's a dynamic world.
their stadium's legit, man.
Really nice. Really nice.
You mean Bird's not a nice looking stadium?
I mean,
Bird looks like 4 stadiums. Well, it's not even Bird anymore, unfortunately, but it's like 4 stadiums chopped together and thrown together like a
it has
Lego
one
set.
side that goes up 75 stories and one side that goes up a half a story.
Yep. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
I
not
remember
great.
being a kid going to football camp going, man, that stadium kind of sucks. I didn't even know what a stadium was. That looks weird. Why is one side so high and one side's like not even?
It wasn't like that when you were a kid, but go ahead.
Yes, it was.
So we will wrap up our sports talk this weekend or this week, and hopefully this time next week we're talking about the World Series schedule, who the Nats are playing, how it plays
Knock on
out.
wood.
Knock on wood.
Or granite, whatever this.
Hopefully,
I got wood.
hopefully
at some point.
hopefully the Caps have found a way to.
know.
Hopefully the Caps have found a way to play a little bit more consistently and get some points in this tough stretch here early in the season. I personally hope that the Redskins get the shit absolutely kicked out of them by San Francisco.
Yeah, they're gonna get annihilated 45-0.
I absolutely hope so. The only hope for that franchise is a redo, and without embarrassing themselves, it's not going to
The
happen.
only hope is
So-
that Dan Snyder is not able to have any function with the team. And I don't want to wish ill will on him or anything, but that's the only hope. Unless
That could have gone a million different directions.
He needs to have a contract where he's not allowed to have any conversations with anybody on the team, any personnel. That's the only way.
It's just not going to happen. It's so depressing. And hopefully the Ravens, can split the next 2, like you said. That would be key. And hey, when are we doing our NBA preview, guys?
Fuck, I hope never.
There's a
Never.
But college
Nets.
basketball
Oh,
is
definitely.
coming.
That's what I'm
And that's
talking
gonna be a
about,
big
baby.
one.
Yes.
I got a magazine that Terps preseason 10.
Yep.
Preseason number
Nah,
9.
it's going to be that will be fun to preview for sure. So
That
please,
might need almost its own whole episode.
yeah. So please, tune in next week. We'll see where our Nats are going, our Caps are going, our Skins are going to go right down the drain. I guarantee it.
I hope they lose every game.
But hopefully they will entertain us because if nothing else, they're a fucking clown show over there.
All right.
All right, boys. So until next week, wings, beers, and tears. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Spotify, Google Play. Download, subscribe, drop us a line, give us a listen, laugh.
Peace.
See you guys.
Cheers, guys.